Have you ever laid in bed, exhausted from the day, yet your mind refuses to rest? The thoughts keep spinning. Unfinished conversations, tomorrow's worries, regrets you didn't ask for. You lie still, hoping sleep will come. But peace feels impossibly far away. Tonight that changes. For the next 2 hours, you're going to experience something extraordinary. Not just sleep, but a complete transformation of your mind while you rest. Because what I'm about to share isn't just about falling asleep. It's about rewiring your entire approach to life through the ancient wisdom of Stoicism. You see, your mind doesn't stop when you sleep. It keeps working, sorting through the noise, holding on to what feels important, and discarding what doesn't. But if you don't guide it, it strengthens the wrong things: anxiety, frustration, fear. Tonight we're going to change that. Chapter 1. The Art of Mental Detox. Before sleep. The greatest mistake most people make is bringing their entire day into bed with them. Every unresolved tension, every irritation, every small failure lingers beneath the surface, tightening its grip as your body lies still. Sleep becomes a battlefield where your mind fights against itself. But the Stoics understood something profound. Clarity is not something that happens by accident. It must be created. A mind left unchecked will naturally drift toward chaos, dwelling on frustrations, clinging to regrets, inventing problems that don't even exist yet. Tonight we begin with mental detox, not suppressing emotions or pretending problems don't exist, but mastering the ability to release what no longer serves a purpose. The Stoics practiced this daily, examining their thoughts, stripping emotions of their power, and ensuring they didn't carry unnecessary burdens into their rest. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Tonight, you'll discover exactly what that means. Chapter 2. The Discipline of Non-Attachment. Picture this. Someone cuts you off in traffic earlier today. That moment lasted 3 seconds, but in your head, you've replayed it for hours. You've imagined confronting them, argued with them in your mind, carried that weight into your evening, and now into your bed. This is attachment, and it's destroying your peace. The Stoics taught that we suffer not because of what happens to us, but because of our resistance to what happens. Every moment you spend clinging to anger, regret, or worry is a moment stolen from your tranquility. But here's the secret. Letting go isn't about denying what happened. It's about recognizing that your peace is more valuable than your pride. It's understanding that most of what disturbs your mind is self-inflicted. Tonight, as you listen to these words, feel your body sinking deeper into rest. With each breath, release what doesn't serve you. That argument from this morning, let it go. The mistake you made at work, release it. The worry about tomorrow, it has no place here. Chapter 3. Training your subconscious for strength. While your conscious mind rests, your subconscious continues working. It's processing, sorting, and most importantly, learning. The thoughts you feed it before sleep become the foundation of tomorrow's responses. This is where most people fail. They fill their final moments with news, social media, or meaningless entertainment. They let random thoughts dictate their subconscious programming. But tonight, you're different. Tonight, your subconscious will absorb wisdom. It will integrate the principles of courage, clarity, and calm. While you sleep, your mind will be training itself to respond to life's challenges not with fear, but with strength. Seneca wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end." Tonight marks the end of restless sleep and anxious mornings. Tonight begins your transformation into someone unshakable. Chapter 4. The Stoic Practice of Evening Reflection. Before true rest can come, you must complete the day, not by reviewing your failures with harsh judgment, but by extracting wisdom from every experience. Ask yourself, where did I show virtue today? Where did I react from emotion rather than reason? What lessons did today offer me? This isn't self-criticism, it's self-mastery. You're not dwelling on mistakes. You're ensuring they become teachers rather than tormentors. Marcus Aurelius spent every evening in this practice not because he was weak, but because he understood that growth requires conscious reflection. Tonight, as your mind settles, let this reflection bring closure to your day. Chapter 5. Embracing the discipline of gratitude. Even in the darkest moments, there is light to be found. The Stoics believed that focusing on what we have, rather than what we lack, is the foundation of contentment. Tonight, before sleep takes hold, acknowledge 3 things. Something you accomplished today, something you learned, and something you're grateful for. Let these thoughts be the last conscious seeds planted in your mind. This isn't toxic positivity, it's practical wisdom. Your mind will always find something to focus on. Choose to give it beauty rather than bitterness. Chapter 6. The Ultimate Surrender. The final lesson of Stoic sleep mastery is perhaps the most difficult. Surrender, not giving up, but recognizing what's not worth holding on to. You cannot control what happened today. You cannot control what will happen tomorrow. But you can control this moment, your breath, your thoughts, your choice, to let peace fill the spaces where worry once lived. As Epictetus taught, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Tonight your reaction is rest, your response is renewal, your choice is peace. The journey into deep rest. Now as these words fade into the background, feel your body completely releasing, every muscle relaxing, every thought settling. Your mind is no longer fighting, it's flowing. The ancient Stoics believed that true strength comes not from resisting life's storms, but from finding calm within them. Tonight you carry that calm into sleep. Tomorrow you'll wake with it, integrated into your very being. Your breath is slowing, your thoughts are quieting. And in this space between wakefulness and dreams, you're not just resting, you're transforming. The wisdom of Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus flows through you now. Their teachings on resilience, acceptance, and inner strength become part of your subconscious programming. Sleep now, not as someone escaping the day, but as someone who has mastered it. Rest now, not as someone overwhelmed by life, but as someone unshakable within it. The Stoics understood that every night offers a chance to reset, to release, and to rise again stronger. Tonight you claim that power. Sleep deeply, wake stronger, live unshakable. The mind that has learned to release begins to understand something profound. You are not your thoughts, you are not your emotions, you are not the chaos that swirls through your consciousness when the day ends and darkness falls. You are the observer, the silent witness, the eternal presence that watches it all unfold without being consumed by any of it. But observation alone is not enough. True Stoic mastery requires something deeper, something that transforms the very foundation of how you experience a reality. It requires you to understand that the stories your mind tells you about who you are, what you've done, and what might happen tomorrow are nothing more than mental constructs, no more real than the dreams that will soon visit you in sleep. Tonight, as you journey deeper into the realm of Stoic wisdom, you will discover the art of non-identification. This is not about becoming disconnected from life or emotionally numb. This is about recognizing the difference between experiencing life and being enslaved by your reactions to it. The Stoics understood that suffering comes not from what happens to us, but from our attachment to how we think things should be. Marcus Aurelius, even as he ruled the most powerful empire on earth, knew that his true strength came not from his ability to command legions, but from his capacity to remain untouched by the very power he wielded. He understood that everything external to the mind is temporary, fleeting, ultimately insignificant, compared to the quality of one's inner life. As your body settles deeper into rest, allow this truth to penetrate every cell of your being. You are not your job title. You are not your bank account. You are not your successes or your failures. You are not even your relationships, however precious they may be. These are all experiences flowing through the vast space of your consciousness. But they are not you. The Greek concept of ataraxia, which the Stoics cherished above all else, refers to this unshakable tranquility that comes from understanding your true nature. It is the peace that exists beyond circumstances, beyond emotions, beyond the endless fluctuations of daily life. This peace is not something you achieve or earn. It is something you uncover by removing everything that obscures it. Think of your mind as a clear mountain lake. When the wind stirs the surface, the water becomes choppy and you cannot see the bottom. But the lake itself remains unchanged. The disturbance is only on the surface. When the wind dies down, the water returns to its natural state of perfect stillness, and you can see all the way to the bottom with absolute clarity. Your thoughts and emotions are like that wind. They create ripples on the surface of your consciousness, but they cannot touch the depths of who you truly are. The Stoic learns to identify not with the ripples, but with the lake itself. This is the foundation of unshakable inner strength. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. How often have you lain awake at night, not because of what was actually happening in that moment, but because of what your mind was telling you about what had happened or what might happen? The present moment, when observed clearly, is rarely as problematic as our thoughts about it. This is why the practice of non-identification is so liberating. When you stop believing that you are your thoughts, you stop being controlled by them. When you stop identifying with your emotions, you can feel them fully without being overwhelmed by them. When you stop defining yourself by external circumstances, you become free to respond to life from a place of wisdom rather than reactivity. Epictetus, who knew slavery and freedom both literally and metaphysically, taught that no one can hurt you without your permission. This is not about denying that difficult things happen. This is about recognizing that your response to what happens is always your choice, and that this choice is where your true power lies. As you rest tonight, Practice observing your thoughts as if they were clouds passing through the sky of your awareness. Notice how they arise, exist for a moment, and then dissolve into nothingness. Notice that you are not the clouds, you are the sky itself, vast, unchanging, eternally present. Some thoughts will try to convince you that they are urgent, that they require your immediate attention, but from the perspective of the eternal sky of consciousness, no thought is truly urgent. They are all just weather patterns, temporary formations in the infinite space of awareness. When a worrying thought arises, instead of engaging with its content, simply notice that thinking is happening. When an emotion surfaces, instead of being swept away by it, observe that feeling is occurring. This simple shift, from being lost in experience to observing experience, is the beginning of true freedom. The Stoics called this the discipline of desire. It is the practice of wanting only what is within your control and accepting everything else with equanimity. But before you can truly master your desires, you must first understand that you are not your desires. You are the awareness in which desires arise and pass away. This understanding brings profound relief. You no longer have to carry the weight of every thought and emotion. You no longer have to solve every problem or fix every situation. You can simply be present, aware, responsive, rather than reactive. As your breathing becomes slower and deeper, allow yourself to sink into this space of pure awareness. Notice how peaceful it is here, beyond the reach of any story your mind might tell. Notice how complete you are in this moment, regardless of what you have or don't have, what you've done or haven't done. The ancient Stoics spoke of living according to nature, but they didn't mean the nature of trees and rivers. They meant your essential nature, the part of you that exists before thought, before emotion, before the construction of personal identity. This is the nature that is always at peace, always whole, always free. In this state of non-identification, you begin to understand what Marcus Aurelius meant when he wrote that the universe is change, and our life is what our thoughts make it. You realize that you have been giving away your power to temporary phenomena, allowing passing experiences to define your sense of self and determine your level of happiness. But no more. Tonight, as ancient wisdom flows through your consciousness, you reclaim your birthright as a free being. You remember that you are not at the mercy of circumstances, emotions, or even your own thoughts. You are the unchanging awareness in which all of these things appear and disappear. This is not a philosophical concept to be understood intellectually. This is a living truth to be embodied, a way of being that transforms every aspect of your life. When you know yourself as awareness itself, you become unshakable, not because nothing can touch you, but because you understand that the essential you cannot be touched by anything temporary. The Greek word Sophia means wisdom, but it also means the love of wisdom. The Stoics were philosophers not because they had all the answers, but because they never stopped questioning, never stopped seeking deeper understanding. Tonight, you join this eternal quest, not through thinking, but through being. As you drift deeper into sleep, carry this understanding with you. Let it seep into your subconscious mind, rewiring the very foundations of how you experience reality. Let it dissolve the old patterns of identification with thoughts and emotions. Let it establish a new baseline of peace that no external circumstance can disturb. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your circumstances. You are the eternal, unchanging awareness in which all of these things arise and pass away. And in recognizing this truth, you become truly free. Free to experience life fully without being enslaved by it. Free to feel deeply without being overwhelmed. Free to engage completely while remaining essentially untouched. This is the gift of Stoic wisdom. This is the path to unshakable inner strength. And this is just the beginning of your transformation. Rest now in the knowledge of who you truly are, and wake tomorrow as a person who can no longer be shaken by the storms of life. Because you have remembered that you are not the storm. You are not the boat tossed by the storm. You are the vast ocean in which all storms arise and subside. The ancient Greeks knew this truth. The Stoic masters lived this truth. And now as you sleep, this truth becomes your truth, integrated not just into your mind, but into the very fabric of your being. Tomorrow you will wake not just rested, but reborn. Not just refreshed, but transformed. Not just ready for the day, but unshakable in the face of whatever that day might bring. Sleep now, child of eternity. Sleep now, and remember who you really are. Looking at your script, I can see you're creating a comprehensive sleep guide using Stoic principles. Here's my analysis and feedback. Napdras, what you've done well. Strong foundational structure. You've built an impressive framework covering essential Stoic concepts for sleep preparation, from mental detoxification to emotional regulation to subconscious programming. Comprehensive content. The script addresses multiple layers of sleep preparation. Mental, releasing daily tensions, controlling thoughts. Emotional, practicing non-attachment, processing feelings. Philosophical, accepting mortality, finding inner peace. Practical, sleep hygiene, environmental factors. Authentic Stoic integration. You've woven genuine Stoic philosophy throughout, rather than superficial references, citing Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus appropriately. Areas for improvement. 1. Length and pacing. At 1,800-1,900 words, this feels more like part 1 of a longer series, rather than part 3. For sleep content, consider shortening individual sections for better flow, using more transitional phrases to guide listeners through the journey, adding periodic breathing moments or pauses in the script. 2. Sleep-specific structure. The current structure feels more like a philosophical lecture than a sleep guide. Consider reorganizing around the natural progression towards sleep. Suggested flow. Evening reflection, physical preparation, mental clearing, emotional release, philosophical acceptance, deep rest, nastararmas. 3. Narrative voice consistency. You switch between instructional and meditative tones. For sleep content, maintain a consistently calming guided voice throughout. Specific suggestions. Opening revision. More sleep-focused. Instead of diving straight into mental detoxification, try. As the day draws to a close and your body begins to seek rest, your mind often remains active, carrying the weight of unfinished thoughts and unresolved emotions. Tonight, we explore how the ancient wisdom of Stoicism can transform these final waking hours into a sanctuary of peace. Add transitional breathing cues. Between major sections, include gentle transitions. Take a deep breath here. Let that wisdom settle. And now we turn our attention to Dom. Include progressive relaxation elements. As you consider this Stoic principle, allow your shoulders to drop. Release any tension in your jaw. Let your breathing naturally deepen. Enhanced section example. Here's how you might revise the letting go of expectations section for better sleep integration. Original concept. Philosophical discussion of expectations. Sleep-optimized version. Now, as your body settles into rest, notice any expectations you're carrying about tomorrow. Perhaps you're hoping for specific outcomes, planning conversations, or anticipating results. The Stoics understood that sleep is nature's way of teaching us surrender. Each night, we practice the ultimate letting go, releasing conscious control entirely. Tonight, let this natural process extend to your expectations. Breathe out the need to control tomorrow's events. Breathe in the peace of accepting what will unfold. Overall assessment. You have excellent content and genuine Stoic wisdom. The main opportunity is reshaping this philosophical material into a more experiential, sleep-focused journey. Consider this part 3 as the deep integration section, where listeners actively practice these principles as they prepare for sleep, rather than learning about them. The script shows deep understanding of Stoicism and genuine care for helping people find peace. With some structural adjustments for the sleep context, this could be truly transformative content. You've journeyed through the realm of mental detoxification, learned the sacred art of self-interrogation, and discovered the profound discipline of non-attachment. Your mind has been clearing, releasing the burdens that once kept you restless through the night. But now, we enter perhaps the most transformative phase of this ancient practice, the realm where your conscious mind meets the infinite wisdom of the subconscious. What you're about to discover isn't just theory. It's the secret that the greatest minds in history used to tap into a wellspring of wisdom while they slept. Tonight you'll learn to program your subconscious with the same principles that guided emperors through impossible decisions and philosophers through the darkest uncertainties of existence. The mind is always learning, always absorbing, always reshaping itself according to what it encounters most frequently. This is why the Stoics placed such emphasis on deliberate mental conditioning, especially in those precious moments before sleep, when the conscious barriers are lowered and the subconscious becomes most receptive to transformation. Think of your subconscious mind as fertile soil. During the day, it's been trampled by countless feet, worries, distractions, fears, and fleeting thoughts. But at night, in those quiet moments before sleep, that soil becomes soft and ready to receive whatever seeds you choose to plant. The question is, what will you cultivate? Most people leave this process to chance. They fall asleep with whatever thoughts happen to be dominating their minds: stress from work, anxiety about tomorrow, replays of conversations that went wrong, and their subconscious faithfully absorbs all of it, reinforcing patterns of worry, reactivity, and inner turmoil. But you're here because you understand there's a better way. You're here because you're ready to take conscious control of what your mind absorbs in those critical hours before sleep. You're here because you want to wake up not just rested, but transformed. The Stoics called this practice the cultivation of virtue through conscious repetition. They understood that the mind becomes what it most frequently encounters. If you expose your subconscious to wisdom, it becomes wise. If you feed it with courage, it grows courageous. If you nourish it with tranquility, it learns to remain unshaken, no matter what storms rage in the external world. But this isn't about positive thinking or empty affirmations. This is about something far more profound. This is about aligning your deepest self with principles that have withstood the test of millennia. Principles that transformed ordinary men into legends, that turned chaos into order, that brought light to the darkest periods of human history. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, you're not just ending another day. You're participating in an ancient ritual of self-transformation. You're joining the ranks of those who understood that the real work of becoming begins not in the noise of day, but in the sacred silence of night. Let the darkness become your ally. Let the stillness become your teacher. Let sleep become not an escape from growth, but its most powerful catalyst. Your subconscious is listening. It's ready. And for the next several hours, it will work tirelessly to integrate whatever wisdom you choose to offer it. This is where philosophy meets practice, where ancient wisdom meets modern transformation, where the ordinary mind learns to touch the extraordinary. Welcome to the deeper chambers of Stoic sleep training, where every night becomes an opportunity to wake up stronger than you were when you closed your eyes. The journey continues. Your transformation has only just begun. The ultimate 2-hour deep sleep guide. Uncover your inner Stoic like never before. Part 5. The mind that trains for hardship is a mind that cannot be broken. Throughout your journey tonight, you've learned to release the burdens of the day, to step back from what disturbs you, and to find that quiet center within yourself. But there is one more level of mastery to explore. The art of non-attachment that transforms not just how you sleep, but how you move through the world itself. The sacred art of letting go. Most suffering comes not from what happens to you, but from your attachment to how things should have happened. The mind that clings to expectations, to outcomes, to the need for things to be different, is a mind that will never know true rest. Tonight, as you sink deeper into this guided journey, you're going to learn the most powerful skill the Stoics ever developed, the ability to hold everything lightly. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a vast lake at twilight. The water is perfectly still, reflecting the last light of day. In your hands, you hold a collection of stones, each one representing something you've been carrying. Some stones are smooth and familiar. You've held them so long they feel like part of you. Others are rough and jagged, cutting into your palms, even as you refuse to let them go. These stones are your attachments, your need for others to behave in certain ways, your insistence that life unfold according to your timeline, your attachment to being right, to being understood, to being treated fairly. Feel the weight of these stones in your hands. Notice how your shoulders ache from carrying them. Observe how your grip has grown so tight that your fingers are cramped and sore. The Stoics understood something profound. Attachment is not love. Clinging is not caring. When you hold on to someone or something so tightly that it causes you pain, you're not protecting it. You're imprisoning yourself. True love, true care, True engagement with life comes from a place of openness, not possession. As you stand by this lake of consciousness, you begin to understand what the ancient masters knew. Everything in life is borrowed. Your health, your relationships, your circumstances, even your thoughts. All of it is temporary, flowing through your experience like water through your hands. The more desperately you try to hold on to any of it, the more quickly it slips away. But here's the beautiful paradox. When you stop grasping, when you learn to hold everything with an open palm, you don't lose anything real. What was meant to stay remains. What was meant to flow moves on. And you, the one who holds and releases, remains steady at the center of it all. The practice of sacred detachment. Tonight, as your body rests and your mind grows quiet, you're going to practice the highest form of Stoic training, conscious non-attachment. This isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about loving so purely that you can let go of the need to control what you love. Begin with your breath. Notice how each inhale arises naturally, fills your lungs, and then releases completely without any effort from you. You don't cling to the breath as it leaves. You trust that the next one will come. This is your first lesson in non-attachment. Just as you don't grasp at your breath, you can learn to hold all of life with this same gentle openness. Now bring to mind something that's been causing you stress lately. Perhaps it's a relationship that isn't unfolding as you hoped. Maybe it's a goal that seems to be slipping away. It could be a change in your circumstances that you've been fighting against. Don't judge yourself for caring about these things. Caring is beautiful. But notice where caring has turned into clinging, where love has become attachment. Feel the tension this creates in your body. Notice how your jaw tightens when you think about trying to force an outcome. Observe how your chest constricts when you imagine losing something you think you need. This physical tension is the cost of attachment, the price you pay for trying to control what cannot be controlled. The Stoics would ask you a simple question. If this thing you're attached to was never yours to begin with, if it was always just passing through your life like a guest in your home, how would that change your relationship to it? If you knew that everything you love will eventually change or pass away, would you waste time trying to make it permanent, or would you focus on appreciating it fully while it's here? The freedom of open hands. As you lie here in the darkness, your body growing heavier with each breath, imagine yourself back at that lake. One by one, you begin to release the stones you've been carrying, not because you don't care, but because you care enough to stop hurting yourself in the name of love. The first stone you release is your attachment to being understood. How much energy have you wasted trying to make others see your point of view? How many nights have you lost sleep, replaying conversations, crafting the perfect argument, defending your perspective? As this stone sinks into the dark water, feel the relief in your shoulders. You can still share your truth, still express yourself fully, but you no longer need others to validate your experience. The second stone is your attachment to fairness. Life isn't fair, and it never promised to be. People won't always treat you as you deserve. Circumstances won't always align with your efforts. Justice doesn't always prevail in the timeline you'd prefer. As this stone disappears beneath the surface, notice how much lighter you feel. You can still work for justice, Still treat others with fairness, but you're no longer tormented by the gap between how things are and how they should be. The third stone is your attachment to comfort. You've been trying to arrange your life so that you never have to feel pain, disappointment, or uncertainty. But the Stoics knew that this is impossible, and even if it were possible, it would rob you of the very experiences that make you strong. As this stone joins the others at the bottom of the lake, feel a new kind of strength emerging. You can handle whatever comes. You don't need life to be comfortable, to be at peace. One by one, you release them all. Your attachment to timing, the need for things to happen when you want them to, your attachment to recognition, the need for others to see and appreciate your efforts, your attachment to permanence, the need for good things to last forever and difficult things to end immediately. With each stone released, you become lighter, not because you care less, but because you love more freely. You're not abandoning your goals, your relationships, or your values. You're simply releasing your death grip on how they must unfold. The warrior's rest. This is the sleep of the true warrior, not the one who fights against life, but the one who flows with it. As your body sinks deeper into rest, your mind continues to practice this sacred art of non-attachment. You're learning to hold your experiences like water, fully present to them while they're here, completely accepting when they flow away. In your dreams tonight, you may find yourself in situations that would normally trigger your attachments. Perhaps someone criticizes you, or a plan falls through, or something precious is threatened. But instead of grasping and fighting, you respond with the fluid grace of someone who knows that all experiences are temporary visitors in the house of consciousness. You listen to criticism without needing to defend. You watch plans change without losing your center. You see precious things threatened without panicking. Not because you don't care, but because you've learned to care without attachment, to love without possession, to engage without clinging. This is what the Stoics called the discipline of desire, not the suppression of wanting, but the transformation of how you relate to what you want. You can want things, work toward them, hope for them, but you don't need them to be happy. Your peace doesn't depend on getting what you want. It comes from wanting what you have and accepting what you don't. As sleep deepens around you like a gentle tide, you rest in this profound understanding. You are not what happens to you. You are not your circumstances, your successes, your failures, or even your thoughts and emotions. You are the aware presence that witnesses all of these experiences without being diminished by any of them. The midnight teaching, in the deepest part of the night, when your rational mind has quieted and your defenses are down, the most profound teaching emerges. It's not something you think about. It's something you become. You are the space in which all experiences arise and pass away. You are the stillness that remains constant while everything else changes. This isn't a philosophical concept to understand. It's a living reality to embody. As you sleep, your subconscious absorbs this truth at the cellular level. Tomorrow, when you face the inevitable challenges that life presents, you won't need to remember to practice non-attachment. It will have become part of your being. You'll find yourself naturally holding things more lightly. When someone disappoints you, instead of grasping at how they should have behaved, You'll simply note their choice and respond from your own center. When plans change unexpectedly, instead of fighting the new reality, you'll adapt with the fluid grace of water, finding its way around obstacles. This doesn't mean you become passive or stop caring about outcomes. The Stoics were some of history's most effective leaders, teachers, and change-makers, but they acted from a place of non-attached engagement, giving their best effort while remaining unshaken by results they couldn't control. The dawn of freedom, as the night progresses and your sleep grows even deeper, you're being initiated into one of life's greatest secrets. True freedom comes not from getting what you want, but from wanting nothing other than what this moment offers. This doesn't mean you stop having preferences or working toward goals. It means you find your happiness not in achieving specific outcomes, but in the quality of your engagement with whatever is happening. You learn to love without needing to be loved in return. You learn to give without expecting reciprocation. You learn to act with integrity without requiring recognition. You learn to face uncertainty without demanding guarantees. This is the freedom that no external circumstance can threaten, because it doesn't depend on anything outside yourself. In your dreams, you practice this freedom. You find yourself in scenarios where everything you thought you needed is taken away, and you discover that your essential self, your awareness, your capacity to choose your response, your ability to find meaning in any situation, remains untouched. You realize that you've been like someone standing in a river, panicking about getting wet when you were always free to swim. The morning that never comes. There's something beautiful about deep sleep. It's a state of complete non-attachment. You're not trying to control your dreams, not clinging to pleasant experiences or pushing away difficult ones. You simply allow whatever arises in consciousness to be there, and then let it pass. This is the natural state of non-attachment, and tonight you're learning to carry this same quality into your waking life. As you rest here, hour after hour, your nervous system is literally rewiring itself. The neural pathways that once fired in patterns of grasping and resistance are growing quiet. New pathways are forming, ones that support flow, acceptance, and open-hearted engagement with life, as it is rather than as you think it should be. Your body is learning to hold stress differently. Instead of contracting around difficulties, it learns to remain open. Instead of bracing for impact, it learns to move with whatever force encounters it. Instead of building walls for protection, it learns to find safety in flexibility. This is the deepest level of Stoic training, not just mental concepts or emotional techniques, but a complete transformation of how you exist in the world. You're becoming someone who can lose everything external and still have everything that matters. You're developing the kind of strength that comes not from what you can control, but from what you no longer need to control. When you finally wake from this journey, you'll carry something precious with you. The knowing that your peace doesn't depend on anything outside yourself. Your happiness isn't held hostage by other people's choices, life circumstances, or the endless variables you can't control. You've found the place within yourself that remains calm in any storm, and nothing can take that away from you because you've learned not to cling to it. This is the ultimate Stoic wisdom. When you hold everything lightly, you can never truly lose anything that matters. When you love without attachment, Your love becomes unconditional. When you act without clinging to results, your actions become pure expressions of your values rather than desperate attempts to control outcomes. Rest now in this profound freedom. Let it seep into every cell of your being. Tomorrow you'll wake not just refreshed in body, but transformed in spirit, carrying within you the unshakable peace that comes from learning to hold the world with open hands and an open heart. The journey continues in the darkness, where the deepest teachings are not spoken, but lived, not understood but embodied, not grasped but received with the gentle acceptance of someone who has finally learned to let go. The mind that has been conditioned through wisdom, trained in the quiet hours before dawn, strengthened by the deliberate absorption of Stoic principles during sleep, awakens not to chaos, but to clarity. You have traveled through 5 transformative stages of this journey. You have learned to clear the mental clutter, to examine your thoughts with the precision of a philosopher, to release what no longer serves your growth. You have discovered how to detach from the unnecessary burdens that once weighed heavy on your consciousness, and you have programmed your subconscious mind to operate from a foundation of reason and virtue. But there is one final threshold to cross, one ultimate principle that separates those who merely practice Stoicism from those who embody it completely. This is not about controlling your thoughts or managing your emotions. This is about transcending the very need for control itself. This is about reaching a state where your mind operates so naturally in alignment with wisdom that effort becomes unnecessary, where virtue flows through you like breath, automatic and essential. The ancient Stoics called this state ataraxia, complete tranquility of mind, not the temporary calm that comes from favorable circumstances, but the unshakable peace that exists, independent of any external condition. It is the mind that has moved beyond reaction into pure response, beyond struggle into effortless strength, beyond seeking peace to being peace itself. Most people live their entire lives fighting themselves. Their thoughts war against their values. Their emotions rebel against their intentions. Their actions contradict their deepest beliefs. They exhaust themselves, trying to force alignment between who they are and who they wish to become. But what if this internal conflict is not inevitable? What if there is a way to live where every part of you moves in the same direction, like a river flowing toward the sea? This unified state begins with a radical shift in perspective. Instead of seeing yourself as someone who must constantly work to become better, you begin to recognize that wisdom is your natural state. Virtue is not something foreign that you must struggle to acquire. It is the expression of your truest nature when all the artificial barriers are removed. You are not becoming someone else. You are becoming yourself, fully and completely. The subconscious mind that has been trained through the previous practices now operates like a master craftsman. It no longer needs constant supervision or correction. The thoughts that arise automatically align with wisdom. The emotions that surface naturally support your highest good. The impulses that emerge spontaneously serve your deepest values. This is not suppression or control. This is integration. This is wholeness. Consider the master musician who no longer thinks about individual notes, but becomes the music itself. The skilled athlete whose body moves with perfect precision without conscious effort. the seasoned craftsmen whose hands shape beauty through pure instinct. They have moved beyond technique into artistry, beyond practice into natural expression. This is what awaits your mind when Stoic principles become so deeply embedded that they operate below the level of conscious thought. The final transformation happens not through effort, but through surrender. Not the surrender of defeat, but the surrender of resistance. You stop fighting against the natural flow of wisdom. You stop trying to force virtue and allow it to emerge. You stop grasping for peace and recognize that peace is what remains when you stop grasping. This is the ultimate paradox of Stoic mastery. The more completely you let go of the need to control your mind, the more perfectly controlled it becomes. But this letting go is not passive. It is the most active choice you can make. It is the decision to trust the wisdom you have cultivated, to rely on the strength you have built, to have faith in the principles you have absorbed so completely that they now operate through you, rather than being operated by you. This is the difference between wearing virtue like a costume and expressing it like a heartbeat. In this final state, challenges do not disturb you because disturbance is no longer part of your vocabulary. Difficulties do not overwhelm you because you have moved beyond the concept of being overwhelmed. Setbacks do not discourage you because your strength no longer depends on external success. You have become like water, soft enough to flow around any obstacle, yet powerful enough to carve through stone over time. The Stoic who reaches this level of mastery does not announce it, does not declare their achievement, or seek recognition for their wisdom. They simply live. They respond to each moment with perfect appropriateness. They meet every person with complete presence. They face every challenge with absolute calm, not because they are trying to be Stoic, but because they have become the living expression of Stoic principles. This is the mind that wakes up already at peace, that moves through the day without internal friction, that encounters stress without becoming stressed, faces uncertainty without becoming uncertain, meets difficulty without becoming difficult. This is the consciousness that has learned to dance with life rather than wrestle with it. The path to this state cannot be rushed, but it can be trusted. Every practice you have learned, every principle you have absorbed, every moment of training you have committed to in the quiet hours before sleep, all of it leads to this ultimate flowering of wisdom. You are not working toward something outside yourself. You are uncovering what has always been within you, beneath the layers of conditioning and confusion. And when this final integration occurs, you realize something profound. You were never broken. You never needed to be fixed or improved or transformed into someone else. You needed only to remember who you have always been beneath the noise. You needed only to return to your natural state of wisdom, strength, and peace. The journey through Stoic sleep training has prepared you for this recognition. The mind that has been disciplined in rest awakens to its own inherent perfection. Not the perfection of never making mistakes, but the perfection of responding to every mistake with wisdom. Not the perfection of never feeling pain, but the perfection of transforming every pain into understanding. Not the perfection of never facing challenges, but the perfection of meeting every challenge with unshakable inner strength. This is your inheritance as a human being, capable of reason and virtue. This is your birthright as a consciousness that can choose its response to any circumstance. This is your destiny as a student of wisdom who has learned to trust the deepest teachings of the Stoic masters. You sleep now not to escape from life, but to prepare for it more completely. You rest not because you are tired of growth, but because you understand that growth continues even in stillness. You close your eyes not to shut out the world, but to integrate everything you have learned, so that when you open them again, you see with clarity that nothing could disturb. The ultimate Stoic sleeps peacefully because they have made peace with everything. They wake up strong because strength is their natural state. They live with wisdom because wisdom flows through them like blood through their veins. This is not the end of the journey. This is the beginning of living the journey with such complete mastery that every step becomes effortless, every breath becomes meditation, every moment becomes an opportunity to express the highest principles of human existence. As we reach the depths of this profound journey into sleep and consciousness, allow yourself to settle even more deeply into the sacred space we have created together. Your body has released its tensions, your mind has found its stillness, and your spirit has touched the eternal wellspring of wisdom that flows through all things. This is the moment where transformation crystallizes, where the ancient teachings of the Stoic masters merge with the deepest layers of your being. In this tranquil state, recognize that you are not merely learning about philosophy or practicing relaxation techniques. You are participating in an ancient ritual of renewal, one that connects you to the greatest minds and spirits who have walked this earth. The Greek philosophers understood that true strength comes not from the accumulation of external power, but from the cultivation of inner sovereignty. They knew that the gods they spoke of were not distant beings on Mount Olympus, but archetypal forces that live within the human soul, waiting to be awakened and embodied as you breathe slowly and deeply. Feel how your consciousness has expanded beyond the narrow confines of daily worry and mundane concern. You have touched something timeless, something that exists beyond the fluctuations of emotion and circumstance. This is your true self, the self that remains constant whether you are celebrating victory or facing defeat, whether you are surrounded by love or walking through solitude. This unchanging awareness is your divine inheritance, your connection to the eternal principles that govern all existence. The wisdom you have absorbed tonight will continue to work within you as you sleep. Your subconscious mind, that vast repository of memory and instinct, is now being rewired according to the highest principles of human excellence. Where once there may have been patterns of anxiety, resistance, or reactivity, there are now being established new pathways of acceptance, courage, and serene strength. This is not a temporary change, but a fundamental transformation, one that will manifest in countless ways as you move through your waking life. Think of the great Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius, who faced the pressures of ruling an empire while maintaining his philosophical practice. He understood that true leadership comes from leading oneself first, from embodying the principles one wishes to see in the world. As you sleep tonight, you are following in his footsteps, using the quiet hours to fortify your character and align your consciousness with virtue. You are becoming the kind of person who can face any challenge with equanimity, who can love without attachment, and who can act with wisdom regardless of external circumstances. Consider also the teaching of Epictetus, who showed us that freedom comes not from changing our external conditions, but from changing our relationship to those conditions. In your deepest sleep, this understanding is becoming part of your cellular memory. You are learning to hold all experiences lightly, to engage fully with life while remaining inwardly free. This is the paradox of the sage, to be completely present and completely detached, to care deeply while holding on loosely. The progressive relaxation you have experienced tonight has done more than simply release physical tension. It has created space within your being for higher wisdom to take root. Each muscle that has relaxed, each breath that has deepened, each thought that has been gently released has created room for your true nature to emerge. You are not becoming someone new, but rather remembering who you have always been, beneath the layers of conditioning and habit. As you continue to rest in this profound stillness, allow yourself to feel the interconnectedness of all things. The ancient Greeks understood that we are not separate individuals struggling alone in an indifferent universe, but integral parts of a cosmic whole, each playing our unique role in the grand symphony of existence. Your peace contributes to the peace of the world. Your wisdom adds to the sum total of human understanding. Your courage inspires courage in others, often in ways you will never know. This understanding of cosmic citizenship brings with it both humility and empowerment. You are humble because you recognize that you are part of something infinitely greater than yourself. You are empowered because you understand that your choices matter, that your commitment to virtue and wisdom creates ripples that extend far beyond your immediate sphere of influence. As you sleep, you are not just resting your individual body and mind, but participating in the healing and elevation of human consciousness itself. The gratitude you have cultivated tonight will continue to transform your perception long after you wake. When you approach each day with genuine appreciation for the gift of existence, even challenges become opportunities for growth, and even setbacks become chances to practice resilience. This is not naive optimism, but mature wisdom, the recognition that life's difficulties are not obstacles to overcome, but experiences to embrace as part of the human journey. Your practice of non-attachment has created a foundation of inner freedom that will serve you in countless ways. When you are not desperately clinging to outcomes, you can act with clarity and purpose. When you are not identified with your emotions, you can feel deeply without being overwhelmed. When you are not attached to your thoughts, you can think creatively without being trapped by mental habits. This freedom is your birthright, and tonight you have claimed it. The surrender you have practiced is not passive resignation, but active alignment with the deeper currents of life. When you stop fighting reality and start working with it, you discover resources and opportunities that were invisible to the struggling mind. This surrender is an act of supreme intelligence, the recognition that cooperation with life's natural rhythms is far more effective than constant resistance. As you prepare for the deepest phases of sleep, know that you are entering a sacred space where healing and transformation occur naturally. Your brain will cycle through various stages of rest and restoration, but throughout this process, the seeds of wisdom you have planted will continue to grow. Your dreams may reflect these teachings, but even if you do not remember them, the integration will continue at levels below conscious awareness. The strength you have discovered tonight is not the brittle strength of the ego, which must constantly prove itself and defend its position. It is the flexible strength of the bamboo, which bends without breaking, and the enduring strength of the mountain, which remains unmoved by storms. This strength comes from alignment with natural principles, from living in harmony with the way things actually are, rather than how we wish they were. Your growing capacity for presence will transform every aspect of your life. When you are truly present, you discover that this moment contains everything you need. The past exists only in memory, the future only in imagination, but life itself unfolds only in the eternal now. By anchoring yourself in present moment awareness, you step out of the stream of psychological time and into the realm of timeless being. The love you have cultivated tonight is not sentimental attachment, but the recognition of fundamental unity. When you see through the illusion of separation, you naturally extend compassion to all beings, understanding that their struggles are your struggles, their joys your joys. This love is not an emotion that comes and goes, but a way of being that reflects your deepest understanding of reality. As you sink deeper into sleep, trust that the work you have done tonight will continue to unfold in perfect timing. You do not need to effort or strain to make these teachings manifest in your life. Like a seed that grows naturally when planted in fertile soil, the wisdom you have absorbed will express itself spontaneously when the conditions are right. Your job is simply to remain open, to stay committed to your practice, and to trust the process of transformation. The discipline you have shown by engaging with these teachings demonstrates your commitment to excellence. True discipline is not harsh self-control, but loving self-guidance, the willingness to choose what serves your highest good, even when it requires effort. This discipline will become increasingly natural as you align more deeply with your authentic values and purpose. Your developing equanimity will be one of your greatest assets in navigating life's inevitable ups and downs. When you can remain centered in the midst of chaos, you become a source of stability for others. When you can maintain perspective during difficult times, you can see opportunities that others miss. This equanimity is not indifference, but engaged detachment, caring deeply while remaining internally free. The wisdom you have touched tonight connects you to an unbroken lineage of seekers who have walked this path before you. From the ancient Stoics to modern practitioners, countless individuals have discovered these same truths and lived these same principles. You are part of this noble tradition, carrying forward the flame of human awakening for future generations. As you prepare to enter the deepest levels of sleep, feel the profound gratitude of the universe for your commitment to growth and wisdom. Every step you take toward greater consciousness serves not only your own evolution, but the evolution of all life. Your willingness to face yourself honestly, to embrace both your strengths and your limitations, and to keep growing despite setbacks, contributes to the healing of the world. Rest now in the knowledge that you are exactly where you need to be, doing exactly what you need to do, learning exactly what you need to learn. There is no rush, no pressure, no need to force anything. The path of wisdom unfolds naturally, for those who are sincere in their seeking and consistent in their practice. You have demonstrated both sincerity and consistency by engaging so deeply with these teachings. Let your sleep be profound and restorative. Let your dreams be filled with wisdom and beauty. Let your subconscious mind integrate these teachings so thoroughly that they become as natural as breathing. When you wake, you will carry with you not just the memory of these words, but the living presence of their truth. You will embody the principles you have learned, expressing them through your actions, your relationships, and your very being. The ultimate goal of this practice is not to become perfect, but to become authentic. Not to eliminate all problems, but to transform your relationship with them. Not to control life, but to dance with it. You are learning to live as the gods lived in the ancient stories, not as distant perfection, but as integrated wholeness, embracing both the light and shadow aspects of existence with equal grace. Sleep now, knowing that you are held by the infinite love that pervades all existence. Rest in the certainty that you are growing in wisdom and strength with each passing day. Trust that the challenges you face are perfectly designed to help you develop the qualities you most need to cultivate. Surrender to the natural rhythms of rest and renewal, allowing your body, mind, and spirit to be restored and refreshed. As we reach the final moments of this transformative journey, allow yourself to sink even deeper into the embrace of sleep, knowing that you carry within you the timeless wisdom of the ancient Greeks. The gods of Olympus were not merely mythical beings dwelling on distant mountains. They were representations of the divine qualities that reside within your own soul. Tonight, you have awakened these dormant powers, and tomorrow you will rise as a living embodiment of their strength, wisdom, and serenity. Feel Zeus's thunderous authority coursing through your being, not as domination over others, but as complete mastery over your own thoughts, emotions, and reactions. This divine sovereignty means you no longer need to control external circumstances because you have achieved something far more precious: inner dominion. When challenges arise, you will meet them with the calm assurance of one who knows that true power lies not in forcing outcomes, but in maintaining perfect equilibrium, regardless of what storms may rage around you. Athena's owl-eyed wisdom has taken root in the deepest chambers of your mind. Every breath you take in sleep is programming your subconscious with strategic thinking, clear judgment, and the ability to see through illusions that once troubled you. You are developing the capacity to perceive situations from multiple perspectives, to understand the hidden patterns that govern human behavior, and to navigate life's complexities with the grace of a master philosopher. This wisdom will emerge naturally in your waking hours, guiding your decisions and illuminating your path forward. Apollo's radiant light has dissolved the shadows of confusion and doubt that once clouded your vision. You are being reborn as a being of clarity, creativity, and divine inspiration. The golden threads of cosmic harmony are weaving themselves into your very essence, aligning your personal rhythm with the greater symphony of existence. You will find yourself naturally drawn to beauty, truth, and activities that elevate your spirit and contribute to the world's healing. Artemis has taught you the sacred art of independence and self-reliance. You are learning to find fulfillment within yourself. to draw strength from your own inner resources, and to walk your unique path with unwavering confidence. This does not mean isolation from others, but rather the ability to love and serve from a place of wholeness rather than need. You are becoming someone who can be fully present with others because you are fully present with yourself. Aphrodite's divine love flows through every cell of your being, transforming your capacity for connection, compassion, and joy. This is not the possessive love that demands and clings, but the unconditional love that gives freely and expects nothing in return. You are awakening to the truth that love is your natural state, and from this foundation, all your relationships will flourish. You will attract and create beauty wherever you go, not through effort, but through the simple radiance of your authentic being. Hephaestus has ignited the forge of your creative power, where raw experiences are transformed into wisdom, pain is alchemized into strength, and obstacles become opportunities for growth. You are developing the divine skill of crafting a meaningful existence from whatever materials life provides. Every challenge becomes a chance to demonstrate your mastery. Every setback, a setup for an even greater comeback. Demeter's nurturing energy has awakened your capacity for patience, growth, and faith in natural cycles. You understand now that everything unfolds in its perfect timing, and you no longer need to force or rush your development. Like a seed that trusts in the darkness of soil, you can rest in periods of apparent stagnation, knowing that invisible growth is always occurring. You are learning to tend to your inner garden with the same care that a loving farmer tends to precious crops. Hermes has blessed you with the ability to communicate with all levels of existence, conscious and unconscious, visible and invisible, human and divine. You are becoming a messenger between worlds, someone who can translate higher wisdom into practical action and earthly experiences into spiritual understanding. Your words will carry healing power. Your presence will bring clarity, and your actions will bridge the gap between what is and what could be. As these divine qualities integrate fully into your being, you are transcending the old paradigm of struggle and entering a new reality based on flow, ease, and natural abundance. The Stoic principles you have absorbed tonight, acceptance of what you cannot control, focus on what you can influence, and alignment with virtue, these are not mere philosophical concepts, but living principles that will guide your every breath. The ataraxia you are cultivating is not just peace of mind, but a fundamental shift in your relationship with existence itself. You are no longer fighting against life, but dancing with it. You are no longer trying to prove yourself, but simply being yourself. You are no longer seeking completion outside yourself, but recognizing the wholeness that has always been your true nature. Sleep now, knowing that every moment of rest is a moment of profound transformation. Trust in the process, surrender to the journey, and awaken tomorrow as the divine being you have always been destined to become. The gods live within you. Their wisdom flows through you, and their power expresses itself as you. You are complete. You are whole. You are home.